So you came to this video to find answers to the question whether name calling is abuse. Now I'm guessing that is because you have been browsing through internet looking for answers whether you live in a relationship that is being abusive. This is why it's so difficult. Recently we did a video on silent treatment, and if you went down to the comment section you would find that there were people who were completely opposing the view that silent treatment can be abuse. And I'm guessing the similar case would be for name calling. There are those who will completely see it and dismiss it as something innocent, name calling. Everybody gets name called at some point in life. We name call other people, whether it's at work, in the street, we get angry and we just call them names. The problem is that relationships are far more complex than the occurrences or the incidents that you may come across in the street or at work or with your friends. But relationship that you have with your partner is completely different. When it comes to children, they usually say things the way they say them because of the way they feel. Or if they suddenly explode in anger, they reflect how you made them feel. So let me give you an example. You walk into a party, you're looking amazing, and there's somebody that you know. Everybody's looking at you, everybody's giving you compliments. But there's this person who suddenly feels jealous because all the attention is on you. That person knows you. Even though you did it unintentionally, you essentially made that person feel jealous. You made them feel the feeling of jealousy, the discomfort of jealousy. Because you made that person feel jealous, they will, and I guarantee you, you can be 100% sure that they will find a way to make you feel the way you made them feel. This is exactly what it's like with children. If they explode at you in anger or they have a temper tantrum, that's usually because of how you made them feel, whether it's intentional or unintentional. And we do this in relationships all the time. Now, name calling is just a version of this. Now, there are abusive relationships. Those are usually the narcissistic relationships. That's a totally different spectrum. I can't even put it into the same group. Now, if you are in a narcissistic relationship, then name calling is absolutely abuse because it's coming from a completely different background. The reasons are completely different. It's all about control. It's not just out of anger. It's not just because you made them feel a certain way, but it's because they're trying to lower your self-esteem, self-worth, and they want to make you feel like you're even more dependent on that person. Obviously, when it comes to psychopaths or narcissists, then this is a big issue, and it's absolutely and 100% an abusive relationship. In a normal relationship though, name calling, and this is where I would probably see a variety in the comment section, people who don't live in narcissistic relationships. They would say, no, name calling is no abuse. It reminds me of Gordon Ramsay. I remember the very first time I saw Gordon Ramsay on TV. I mean, every second word was F-bomb. And then later on, when I saw that he was going to the US, I was puzzled how the US audience and US networks would actually deal with this, because we all know how touchy they can be when it comes to swear words on TV. On British TV, not so much, they sort of assigned it to his personality. And this is what I'm talking about. It's all about context. They knew that he was not being offensive or abusive. It was just part of his personality. It was just the way he spoke. So everything is about context. If you live in a narcissistic relationship or with a psychopath, then yes, it's abuse. In a normal relationship, it's most likely because of the way you made your partner feel. In a normal relationship, we always think that we are better. I mean, the studies have actually talked and shown this, that when they were given tasks to different people in their relationships to do, and then they questioned them to self-assess, they all usually were a lot more critical about the other person, especially if they felt like that was their domain. And this is the thing. In relationships, we do it all the time. We cut ourselves slack. We tend to be a lot more graceful to ourselves and very critical to others. Oftentimes we say things because we just feel that anger building up, and words are often the only way we can hurt the other person, or we can show our frustration. I mean, you're not gonna go into the kitchen and start smashing plates or smashing the TV or whatever. That would just be nasty. But the truth is that sometimes it is just as harmful as doing anything else, because the words that you say, even though you may see them in the context in your mind as something just momentary, something just happened that moment. This is how you felt, this is how the person made you feel, and this is your response. But to that person, it may be far more hurtful. They may have doubts about your love. They may have doubts about how you feel about them. Let's say your sex life has been diminishing, or intimacy has been diminishing, whether due to work or due to just a daily duties or kids or whatever. You know, life gets in the way sometimes. The problem is that if the person doubts themselves and they doubt the strength of the relationship, then anything you say that is hurtful may feel like it's actually coming from a place of truth. They already feel in a similar way, or they suspect that there's something going on in the relationship, and suddenly you say something that seems not only angry but very truthful, and that's because of their state of mind. So when it comes to name calling, we always have to be very cautious. Even if you are not narcissist or a psychopath, or you don't live in a narcissistic or psychopathic relationship, and it's not necessarily abuse, it could be abusive in a sense that it's destructive to your relationship. Despite of what people say that this is just words, words can often be more hurtful than anything else. Unless we know the context, which is often very difficult to know, especially when you are in the middle of an argument. The words that the person is saying, when combined with our inner state, our self-esteem, our confidence, our doubts and fears, it may come across with a much stronger impact than you would normally do. And that's because we never know how the person truly feels. We often hide things in relationships, either because we think that we're going to be judged, or we stop trusting our partners, or we have pride, and personal pride is preventing us from sharing certain things because we don't want to sound like we're complaining too much or sound weak. But this is where a lot of partners actually lose context. So while you may be saying something just out of anger, just in that moment, and 5 minutes later it's gone like that, and you're ready to just get back to normal life, and you said it just to be hurtful in that moment, to your partner it may be something that has a very long-lasting effect, and you may come into the bedroom and find them crying. Or you may find days later that they're still thinking about the argument that you had, and that's purely just because of what you said. You know, this is something that can have a lasting impact on relationship. And if you do that, then you're not helping yourself. You're not helping your partner, you're not helping your relationship. And the momentary alleviation of your own anger is just not worth it. It's not worth calling somebody names just to sort of release that tension, the anger. If you struggle with something like that, then you should either talk to your partner, talk to somebody else, talk to a counselor, we have links in the description, or try to resolve it different ways. Try and stay away from name calling. Try to approach your partner the same way you approach yourself. If you cut yourself slack, cut them slack. It's just unfair to hold your partner to the standards that you don't hold yourself to. If there's anything that my relationship taught me, is that people are very different. My wife is a lot more emotional than me, and I am guilty of name calling just as anybody else. This is how I came to this conclusion, because for me, everything is just in the moment. So if there's an argument and I feel angry, then I know that as soon as the argument is over, as soon as things are said, that's over, and I'm happy to continue to reset. But my wife, for instance, is not like that. You know, she will carry that burden. She will carry whatever is being said for days until it's resolved. If I can feel that I'm being irritated, or that anger is building up, or resentment is building up in me, then I speak to her, because there's no point in going through the whole process of resentment and suffering. It's better if you communicate with your partner. But I totally understand, people are different. So if you're one of those people who has problems sharing, opening up to your partner, then we have a link in the description to some excellent consultants. I mean, it's up to you. You go, look through them, choose the right person, choose the person that you confide in. There's nothing wrong about finding somebody that you share your life experience with, somebody that you consult on relationship issues. Everybody's different, everybody's needs are different. Just do it, all right? And I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in the next one.